I'm Dr. S. Ratnam, Assistant Professor retired. I've been teaching English for some time for the benefit of the students aspiring for competitive examinations and for the students those who want to learn English at home. And presently, this class is intended for the B.Ed course students aspiring for this DSC examination in Andhra Pradesh and in Telangana states. In this DSC examination, school assistants, English for school assistants subject, for them my videos will help much generally on grammar. And presently, earlier also I taught on some classes like poetry, Nizime scale, and lyric. On these topics I taught. Today again I want to teach on the literary terms. Today's literary term is sonnet. Sonnet and its quality, and how sonnet was introduced in England, and who are the writers made it popular. Some of these details I want to teach today. The sonnet was introduced into England in the first half of the 16th century by Sir Thomas Yatt and Henry Howard. These two are the politicians actually. These two introduced sonnet form into English writing in the first half of 16th century. Earlier they went on a mission to Italy, and after coming back from Italy they have brought this form from Italian sonnet. It is from that Italian sonnet they have brought this and used this sonnet form into England. But the scope of the sonnet is, in the beginning it was form only, outer form only, meter and outer form, not the content much. They considered meter and a form and a little subject matter. The value of the subject matter was treated little. It was written for pleasure, only for pleasure, just like songs. In their hands, however, the forms underwent a change, and Surrey, in particular, adopted a rhyme scheme widely different from the earlier Italian model. It is Surrey who made some changes in this Italian sonnet and used widely for the enjoyment of the readers. He wrote his sonnets in 3 quatrains in alternative rhymes, followed by a concluding couplet. He wrote 3 quatrains. Quatrains means 4 lines. 3 quatrains. So that means 3 into 4, 3 into 4, 12 lines. And followed by a couplet. Light. followed by a couplet. So this is how the sonnets were written by Sari. Just make note of it. 3 quartets, 3 into 4 lines, 12 lines, plus a couplet. End of end of the last quartet, 2 lines. 12 plus 2, it is 14 lines, a sonnet. The scheme of the meter also followed by a concluding couplet. A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. This is the meter. Sari's meter was this. A B A B. So that means first line and third line rhymes. Again B and B, second line and fourth line rhymes. This is the rhyme scheme. A B A B. Then a pause. Fresh second quatrain begins. C D C D. Fresh quatrain this is. So that means fifth line and seventh line rhymes together. So that way 3 quatrains were written and last 2 were 2 lines were G and G and G. A form so splendidly used by Shakespeare later that it is now called after him. Actually, Surrey who developed this sonnet, but the name was not given to Surrey. It is Shakespeare. Later it was changed into Shakespearean sonnet because Shakespeare widely used sonnets. And so in his sonnets he followed this rhyme scheme. And so that it was called Shakespearean sonnet. Actually, the sonnet propagated was by Surrey. The following sonnet by Shakespeare, commonly called Remembrance, may be studied as a model of the Shakespearean sonnet. Remembrance, the poem Remembrance, is a Shakespearean model of sonnet. In this Remembrance, I read these lines, first 4 lines, second 4 lines, third 4 lines, and a couplet. And this is a kind of lamentation actually. In the quatrains, the poet expresses grief over past misfortunes, the lack of many a thing he sought, precious friends hid in death's dateless night. Oh, wonderful lines. Grievances foregone. So in these, mainly for a sonnet, the theme may be about something which was lost, or anything that appeals to a human heart. So that is the form of sonnet. But here, Shakespeare, in Remembrance, his poem called Remembrance, he used a kind of lamentation or a sadness or a grief or the loss of things. The lines are, when to the serious of sweet, silent thought. I summon up remembrance of things past. I sigh the lack of many a thing I thought, and with old woes now veil my dear time's waste. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow, for precious friends hid in death's dateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and mourn the expanse of many a vanished sight. Here, very important line that Shakespeare laments on is about the dear ones who lost their lives. For the people who are living on this earth, we have days and nights. But for the dead, there is no demarcation of day and night. It's so that he has used this word for precious friends hid in death's dateless night. Oh, wonderful usage of words. Death's dateless nights. He was hid in the darkness. So what is the use of wailing over those who we have lost? But in the last stanza, he recovers himself that there is no use of wailing over the people whom we have lost, but to look for the real living people, we can gain whatever is lost in them. Then can I grieve at grievances foregone, and heavily from woe to woe tell over the sad account of fore bemoaned mourn, which I knew pay as if not paid before. But if the while I think on this, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end. By looking a living friend, we can restore all losses, whatever are incurred over the people whom he has lost. So this is a hope that living are more hopeful than the dead. So this is what the poem Remembrance. The meter sequence of this poem is A B A B, C D C D, E F E F, G G, the last couplet. This is Shakespeare's sonnet Remembrance. The Spenserian variety is still another form. It will be noted that the quatrains in the Shakespearean sonnet are all unconnected with one another, because A B, that is over. Again, C D. So a fresh meter started in Shakespearean sonnet. But in Spenserian sonnet, there is a slight difference. That is, Spenserian sonnet difference is A B, C B, A B, B C, C D, E. So that means there is a continuity. But in Shakespeare's sonnet, there was no continuity. A B, that was disconnected there. But here it is A B, Again with B, second quatrain starts. BC, BC. Again third quatrain starts with C. So that means a continuity is there. But in Shakespeare's sonnet there was no continuity. It was disconnected. Quatrains were disconnected. But in Spenserian sonnet, this is a slight difference. A, B, B, C, B, C, C, D, C, D, E, E. So this is the continuity. So that is a slight difference between Shakespearean sonnet and Spenserian sonnet. The subjects of the sonnet, though there are no set rules of subjects for the sonnet, Shakespeare, following the earlier Elizabethan sonnets, had limited in theme to love. His sonnets which are believed to be in a connected chain of sequence. Though the order is a matter of controversy, celebrate his attachment to a young friend, presumably the unidentified Mr. W.H., to whom they are dedicated. The poems of the sonnets of Shakespeare are dedicated to some unknown person, Mr. W.H. The variety of subjects dedicated to his love for a mysterious dark lady. We do not know the heroine whom he wrote about in the poems. That is dark lady. He mentioned dark lady. It's a mysterious thing, dark lady. In Milton's hands, the scope of the sonnet was greatly widened, and in time it came to include almost everything within the range of human feeling and experience. So when it came from Shakespeare to Spenser, Spenser to Milton, the scope of the subjects ranged to a variety of subjects, ranging to those subjects which appeal very much to the human feelings and experiences. And all these were found in sonnets. So this is how the sonnet was written and developed in England. Italian sonnet, next it went to Shakespearean sonnet, Spenserian sonnet, and finally this went to Miltonic sonnet also. The sonnets were used by Milton also. And so this is how sonnet and its form were used in England.